uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans to be earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Welcome back to channel. It's PUBG Mobile 2024, so do not adjust your device. This is what the game looked like way back in 2018 when I first started playing the game. And there's a lot that's changed in PUBG Mobile since then. And the tremendous, overwhelming weight of it has been for the good. The graphics, for instance, are simply miles ahead. This is School, one of the more notorious hot drops when the game first kicked off. And I'm going to run through some of the things that I think have been the best changes for PUBG Mobile and some of the things that I think are really contributing to the game being just so good and having such a long run as a relevant game in the history of mobile gaming. I mean, look at this. This is George Paul Crates. And the game was tremendously popular at this point in time. It was so incredibly popular. It started with a huge bang, and yet it was nowhere near the quality of the game we see today. This is one of the big changes that I think is excellent in PUBG Mobile, and these are the things that I really enjoy. These are quality of life improvements. The yeet bag, we like to call it, the Skyhawk, whatever you want to say, but it's been a huge positive. We know there's some campers at the bridge. We don't know that really, but we do know that there's a very high percentage chance that there are people camping the bridge. And the only way you can get on top of this little garage that I'm using here in classic mode, that I'm going to here, is by yeeting in. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to drop here, and it's going to ruin the campers' days because obviously this is a new part of the game that never existed before. The Skyhawk, the yeet bag, the great camping bag of justice and general innuendo. Other massive changes that have occurred are, of course, vaulting. When the game first started, there was no climbing on rooftops. There was none of the whole shebang when it came to, you know, basically getting access to areas that you couldn't otherwise access. And the way the game is played now is way more acrobatic and way more visibly dynamic than it previously was. Not only can you vault through windows, get on rooftops, you can even climb up the girders on the bridge and set up for a lovely bridge camp a la this one here that I'm running through with Mick Dingling and my AMR. Another weapon that was obviously new to the game. I'm not going to go too deep on weapon changes here because I do feel like there's been such a tremendous shift in weapon changes, but things like vaulting onto the rooftops of Bushka just fundamentally changed the way you played the map. Previously, Bushka was very much a two-dimensional house-to-house gunfight, and now you have to look up in the air as well as guard your six, and all these things happen in real time so much faster than they were in the original part of the game in 2018. In 2018, if you saw me running around doing what I'm doing in the game these days, you would have thought I had some kind of a movement hack going on. It was so slow, and touchscreen was incredibly, it was in its infancy, the touchscreen mobile shooter scene. And now look at it, you can see people running around and hitting sniper shots and CQCing and drop shotting and squad wiping, and it's all happening at 1,000 miles an hour, just like it happens on a mouse and keyboard. I'm a 50-year-old man, and yet the way I play now compared to the way I was playing in 2018 is so much quicker. And that's because the game has changed so much. So vaulting, going through windows, all that kind of stuff, brilliant. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that probably you haven't even thought about. Room cards, room keys, warehouse, whatever you want to call it. There was a time when getting a key like that wasn't a thing, where there were no, I mean, these are relatively new things. There were no airdrop weapons available in rooms, just in random parts of the map. And what this has done is it's turned certain places that were completely underutilized. No one was dropping there, no one was going there, no one was really taking the time to do anything other than trash loot Saveni, Primorsk, Lapovka. You can now drop Primorsk and especially Saveni and find 3 to 4 squads here with you, especially on the server I'm on, the Asia server. You can find 3 to 4 squads here. You can walk out of Saveni with 8 or 9 kills, and it's the absolute edge of the map. And that's because PUBG Mobile introduced the room keys, that you can get great loot early on, and there's shops there. You can go to a buy station. You can come out of here with scopes. You can come out of here with level 3 gear. It's just a much better situation. And I mean, I take the FAMAS. Like, dear God, it was a tough call between the Ace-32 and the FAMAS, and I don't really like the Ace-32, but I took the FAMAS. And it's made these gunfights much more enjoyable. Let's talk about the amount and the abundance of airdrop weapons, particularly flares. Flares are a fantastic addition to the game, not just because they bring great loot. They do, and they generally will give you the opportunity to have like one close range, one ranged weapon if you pull them in. Or if you're in a duo or a squad, you get to have everyone like starts getting good loot. Like you get some bloke who gets a AWM, then someone else gets an M24 because that's trickle down economics. It also gives people the option, like mid-game, if they want to be aggressive like this, with 30 remaining, and push flare drops, you can have aggressive gameplay. People know that there is a risk and reward to the flare drop. They also, when they add it in as a like guaranteed drop in areas, the flare is fantastic because you get places like the flare tower that was just on the outskirts of the Erangel coastline, and the Galata tower copy from Istanbul. And that was so positive because you would get hot drops that were super competitive because you knew if you won, you got a flare. So you get access to better weaponry, and it's such a hard thing when you're on Erangel, on these classic maps, not playing event modes. It can be so difficult to get good gear that flares are just fantastic. Now let me talk about, I've got 2 more things that I really want to mention here, and one of them was just a fundamental groundswell of positivity in the way the game was played. And I'm talking about the universal marker. The universal marker was the entry point where we started getting these like really useful communication tools in the game. Originally, you couldn't just double tap the screen and have a dot pop up that showed you whether an area when you checked on the map was outside the circle. You couldn't mark vehicles and mark where enemy players were. And then we went from the universal marker to hit markers, so that when you hit a target, you didn't even have to double tap the area. Your partners in your squad could see what you were hitting. And then you can like spam. Look how much info is going out there to my squad mate, like where the targets are. I'm talking in real time, hit him, he's on a heel, he's probably gone inside, I'm going to push left. These are things that make the game better. They make the game more dynamic. They speed the gameplay up, and they give people, you know, they give people the ability to communicate, and communicating is everything when you're playing this kind of game. That was such a huge change. When the game first started, you had none of that, and it was diabolical as I run around on fire, which leads me to my next point: healing while moving. This was crazy. In 2018, you basically could move as far as you can while being revived now, and you certainly couldn't heal while in the car. The ability to heal, at first it was just to have pills in the car, and then it was bandages, and now the driver can actually heal while in the blue. And this has been a massive bonus. You can see the stabilization on cars as well, which has come in. It's been another great change. But the healing while moving thing, just again, was off the hook in terms of allowing people to compete and actually get to the circle. You used to have to run along in the blue, stop dead still, and then take a complete heal and then run again. And it was a nightmare. It was a complete nightmare. And if someone was driving and you were gonna bleed out, you couldn't do anything about it unless they stopped the car, which was a nightmare when you were playing in randoms. The ability to boost and use bandies has also made bandages way more effective than they previously were. I just think overall, these for me are the biggest changes that have occurred in PUBG Mobile in terms of gameplay mechanics and quality of life improvements. And they've all had a tremendous impact on the game and really helped keep the game fresh and keep the game relevant in what is a very competitive marketplace. So kudos to PUBG Mobile for all the hard work that goes in and giving us the ability to do so much more with the same game that we started with in 2018. Look after yourselves. I'm Bushka. Remember, please subscribe to the channel. If you like videos like this, leave a comment and tell me what you want to see on the channel. I can't remember who asked for this video. I'll go back and have a look, but it was requested. And yeah, just remember to tell your friends, stay safe on the battlefield, and as always, bye for now.